Thoughts to build on by KOPMEYER, 40. Chapter 40. Grapple. It has always been so, and the key word in problem solving today is grapple. This word, grapple, is the main advice to all who have problems, and who doesn't. It is used by psychiatrists, psychologists, personal counselors, and all who offer guidance on solving problems. When any one word, and the action it represents, is so highly and unanimously recommended, it clearly deserves our thoughtful consideration, and grapple will receive it now. Since grappling is the effective solution to problems, let's first examine the role that problems play in all of our lives. Not only do we all have problems, but we seem to receive a regular daily quota of them. They fall upon us much like grains of sand dropped through an hourglass. And sometimes it seems with just as much regularity. This continuous regularity with which problems coming into our lives is actually beneficial for us, even if it doesn't seem that way at the moment. Life without risks, obstacles, and problems wouldn't be worth getting out of bed for. Happiness is not the absence of problems and difficulties. Happiness is successfully solving problems and effectively overcoming difficulties. It takes just as much energy to try to escape a problem as it does to confront and conquer it. Try to escape, and your problem will follow you everywhere. Grapple with it and solve it, and then it is gone forever. Since new problems will always continue to come your way with a certain regularity, it is clear that you must solve and dispose of them just as regularly, or they will accumulate and eventually overwhelm you. There are many broken men and women in this world, and almost everyone has been broken in spirit, mind, and body by the overwhelming burden of accumulated, unsolved problems. Most mental and emotional illnesses can be traced, wholly or partly, to individuals becoming so overwhelmed by the ongoing accumulation of unsolved problems that they could no longer cope and try to escape through some form of mental maladjustment. The same applies to much physical illness. Since 50% to 90% of all physical illness is psychosomatic, depending on which psychiatrist's estimate you accept, most physical illness, too, can be traced back to the accumulating burdens of unsolved problems. The only preventive measure is to solve your problems as they arise, so that unsolved problems will not accumulate. Obvious. But how? That's where grappling comes in. Here is the advice of leading psychiatrists, psychologists, and problem-solving counselors. To the extent that a person directly confronts the realities of a problem and actively grapples with it, he emerges stronger. To the extent that a person tries to ignore or escape from the realities of a crisis, large or small, he begins a worsening pattern of adjustment to life. So by facing each problem directly, then plunging wholeheartedly into its very center and actively grappling realistically with it, you almost always will produce an adequate solution and you will emerge a stronger and more capable person. Note that I said, adequate solution. That is an extremely important phase of problem solving. Some people drive themselves and their associates to distraction by being perfectionists. They will accept nothing less than perfection. They insist on finding the one best solution to every problem. And thus they cannot reach decisions quickly and dispose of problems rapidly and with finality. They are forever reconsidering and re-examining. Meanwhile, other problems continue to come and to accumulate. In this connection, efficiency experts, who know that time is an important element in efficiency, give this advice. First of all, there is rarely a single, best solution to most problems. Often, there are several, equally good solutions, any of which would be sufficient, especially when a quick decision is necessary. And an adequate solution, as the term suggests, is sufficient, and that is enough. Moreover, a second-best solution that is quickly decided upon and promptly implemented is more effective than a better solution that takes so long to develop that many other problems pile up. Therefore, we see that we must not only confront our problems, but we must do so immediately and reach an adequate solution without delay. Problems will not disappear simply because you ignore them. Problems cannot be outrun by trying to flee from them. You cannot escape them. You must face each problem in turn, dive wholeheartedly into its core, and grapple with it so vigorously that you arrive at an adequate solution, then decisively remove it from your life. When I say, grapple actively, I mean truly give it everything you have. Be like the world-famous artist who was asked what he mixed with his red paints to solve the challenge of producing a red so intense that he was hailed as the greatest painter of his time. What did he mix with his red paints? Without even looking up from his work, he quietly replied, blood. Grapple with your problems so fiercely that you put your blood into your grappling. Life rewards problem solvers with the greatest fame and fortune. The world is becoming increasingly crowded, and this alone is a problem that threatens to overwhelm us. This problem is made worse by the fact that the growing masses have been misled into believing that complaining is more effective than tackling issues head-on. As a result, they disrupt and destroy, creating even more problems, including becoming problems themselves. We don't need any more problem makers. We need problem solvers, not the ivory tower kind, but the hands-on kind. If you are a problem solver with the courage to grapple with challenges, the line forms at the cashier's window. You can name your own price.